Hey, Franz, it is I, DrBossKey. I don't know why I'm speaking with funky accent, but it's poor and I should stop. So, Dimitri, thank you for the turnarounds. I hope you had a great weekend. Today, we're going to talk about the DrBossKey flight suit and what that looks like and some of the things we're struggling with. So why don't we just jump into it? Okay, so first and foremost, So Dimitri, after doing some playtesting and watching other people playtest, one of the things that's clear right now is that the weak spot on the suit, it just pops right here. This is just too small. When I compare it to this is the previous game ship size, you know, we had a nice big round, well, nice big. We had an okay round area for the danger area here, but it was also had this nice conveyance, even though you couldn't take damage out here. It sort of framed and pulled the eye towards this part. Also, you know, like in terms of the ship, different design, different problems for sure. But one of the things is clear for us is that our gym is just too small. It needs to be bigger. So, and I went and took a look, pulled it over to Photoshop. And yeah, so here you can see basically this is basically the cutout of the danger area. And if I overlay this bad boy kind of in the center of the crystal, we just need to be wider. And honestly, I think we probably need to be more round as well, because it needs to catch the eye. And I know we've got the particle effect on the top, but the problem is that the particle effects themselves, while they're going to give us more, they're not always guaranteed to be there. So we need to come back to do that. So it looks like, and so yeah, so I think when I take a look at this, it's something like this. Probably it-ish there. Yeah. So, and you can see we have just a little bit of that glow here from the gym itself. So yeah, so let's go back into the suit design it to be bigger, about this big at least. So it means we need to update the suit design. And then the other side of this too is that the green glow, it has to be really bright. So we can play with the color if we want, but we need to have basically the light needs to spill. So the cool part is you did some of that here, right? Which I'm starting to see, but I think we need to be way more aggressive on the light spill. So, you know, basically if it's something like this, then I think the light spill actually needs to be something like needs to be, I mean, unfortunately, I think it needs to be something like this in terms of just glow. It needs to catch the eye. And it doesn't have to be a massive glow at the edges, but it needs to be brighter for sure. So that brings us to the other thing. So that's one piece. So, so here's the thing in the engine. Now, you can see here, I got the little glowy particle bit. Stop taking damage here. I don't know. These guys just get in the way. Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here, enemies. All right. So, I guess, so here's the thing is that in the engine right now, the only way I can get particles to be on top of the player is to put them in as a separate element. And the problem I'm running into is that when the engine is fully taxed in terms of rendering the max amount of particles, because all the enemies use particles and I've been slowly optimizing, I can't guarantee when the queue is full, which particles will be rendered next. So sometimes the particle system goes to retrigger for this one. I'm gonna see if I can adjust it a bit more. And there's just no more available. So then it also goes away. And I might have priority. I gotta talk to the engine developer. I might have priority to, because in the DBK player craft, I'm using these particles here. They don't ever seem to go away, so it might be that the particles attached to the player have priority. But as you can see here, butternut squash. So you can see here, it doesn't show quite as well. Actually, I think all right, I'll just make sure I don't save it real quick. Plop, bloop. All right. Yeah. So yeah, okay. That's what it is. So yeah. So the player sprite is always in front of the player particles. And I don't have any control over that right now. Okay, so but that's one of the limitations I'm dealing with, right? So, and I think I need to put in the new weak spot sparkle. But here's, now that I've kind of explained that a little bit, here's what I think we could also do. So if we took and we basically cut out this section, then what I could do is I could put this in as a particle, and it would show up behind the player, but then it'd be more glowy and dynamic, and I might be able to put the sparkle in over the top, and then it would potentially there I might be able to control layering. So the short version is what I really want to do is I want to see if we can do a version of the suit where you have the midsection cut out for me. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let me take a look at my notes. I think those are the main things. And by the way, I'm starting to get a reminiscent feel of Iron Man here. It's quite silly in terms of like trying to do conveyance. Like it seems like when you're doing characters, people are all trying to solve similar issues, right? Like for different reasons, of course. All right, so increase the size of the weak spot we talked about. Weak spot from oh yeah. So the other one here is that we'll most likely want to draw the weak spot with a slight perspective shift, because here it's head on, but it probably needs to be there. And also the other side of this is the previous version I have, right? But the other side of this is that for the weak spot, I suspect we will need to have slightly longer lines. I need to see your version first, but longer guidelines there. So all right, so that was one thing there. All right, what do we got? Okay, I talked about this. Particle layering. Here's the weak spot cutout. Weak spot gem needs to shine brightly and through. Okay, we covered that. So that's the main stuff there. Okay, cool, awesome. So then flipping over, and I can already tell you this here. All right, taking a look at, and these are great, by the way. I'm gonna have fun with these. So the main thing here is we'll want to do a version where these are, and it doesn't have to be for now, but we draw it in perspective. That way it matches the perspective shift of the body itself. Okay, so in terms of the weapons, I agree. The portals, I kind of like them, but they're also a bit funky. One of the things we'll want to do is we should do a much harder edge. I think, like for instance, if I'm looking at this here, again, we can polish this up here, but, so what I'm thinking is, basically we do just pretend this is like we do one of these, right? So I don't know, like I can crawl a little bit. It could also just be a straight line. Maybe that might be a thing. So basically, get my buttons, get my buttons. All right, cool. So yeah, so what I'm thinking, right, is that we basically, so we have a hard yellow, and it can have a little more soft throw, but basically it's a much harder line. And then all the way to the back here, we have this kind of yellow glow that fades out, and maybe, like essentially emphasizes the fact that this is kind of, emerging from the portal, and that the portal, it's almost like the portal magic is sticking to the surface of the gun, and the gun is being pulled through it. And so it kind of has a tendril, set of tendrils like energy webbing, something like that, right? So that was the main thing there. Again, small polish thing. Other than that, so there's the weapons. Was that the other stuff I need to put in still? Oh, baby. I need to look at this. I'm gonna take a look at this as well in terms of the. So what I was kind of thinking is that these dudes were on the outside. These portal indicators, and that the the generators are kind of poking through the portal and then doing the overall portal itself there. So, and at first, I don't think it matters that much. So I'm going to give it a try here with the centering on the inner area on the chest. All right. I think those are the main things. I appreciate you. And I'm happy that we're making progress. One of the goals here is I really, really want to get a version of this game out maybe for the weekend. That might be too aggressive, or next week, maybe a bit earlier. Because I'm feeling like, I mean, we need to recut a trailer and a bunch of other things. So I don't want to rush it too much, but I also understand that, like, you know, we definitely have to be there before the Steam Shmup Fest sale. And I want a little bit of time for the community to interact, and for us to essentially, especially with the whole Shmup Fest thing coming, being transitioned over. So even if the art isn't completely done at that point, I will still do a version of that. So we're kind of on trajectory for that. Okay. I'll speak to you soon. To everyone else out there that's been following along, thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.